Volodar is a small town in the south of the Donetsk region of Ukraine, which is of great strategic importance due to its location on a hill and the development of multi-story buildings. From urban and industrial buildings, Ukrainian troops have the ability to fire, in particular, railway lines. The conditions contribute to the effective defense of the city from the advancing Russian troops. Since the city is located not far from the former line of control of the self-proclaimed DBR, with the invasion of the Russian armed forces, fighting in the city area began in the very first days of January 9, 2023. The Russian Ministry of Defense announced that Ukrainian forces were concentrating a large group of troops in the western part of the Donetsk region near Volodar during their preparations for new offensives, and also that Ukrainian sabotage and reconnaissance groups are actively operating in this area. On January 24-25, Russian troops began to storm the city, and the next day, the advisor to the head of the so-called Igor Kimmakovsky said that the troops had entered the city and were trying to gain a foothold on its outskirts. At the beginning of February 2023, according to Ukraine, the largest tank battle in the entire war with the Russian Federation took place near Volodar for 3 weeks, which ended in a serious failure for the advancing Russian forces. Russia failed to capture the city, repeating the same mistake that cost the Russian Federation hundreds of tanks at the start of a full-scale war. The forces of the Russian Federation, in particular the 155th and 40th Brigades, suffered heavy losses during the attack on Vuhledar, which was defended by the 72nd Omekbar. The video recordings, which recorded the outcome of one of the clashes, showed 13 destroyed tanks and 12 infantry fighting vehicles, about half of the configuration of the Russian tank battalion. On February 10, there were reports of the possible destruction of more than 30 armored vehicles in total and large losses in manpower. One of the soldiers of the 155th Brigade spoke about 500 dead near Vuhledar. The Russian Defense Ministry insists that the attack on Volodar is going according to plan, while Putin said that the Marine infantry is working as it should. Right now, the Ukrainian military mined all nearby fields, leaving only dirt roads unmined. During the battle, Russian troops moved in tank columns along dirt roads in the same way as at the very beginning of the war. Ukrainian tanks, as well as anti-tank crews armed with the Javelin and Stugna PAT jams, operated from ambushes and maneuvered in the forests. After the anti-tank crews knocked out the lead and rear vehicles, artillery from the M777 and Caesar worked on them. In one case, the HIMARS battery also worked on targets. Trying to turn around, Russian tanks drove into the minefield, exploded, and became an obstacle to other vehicles in the column, finally closing the trap. Thus, the Ukrainian military repelled several waves of attacks. On February 15, 2023, the Institute for the Study of War noted that, according to published videos, Russian troops were pushed out from positions south and southeast of Vuhledar. On February 23, the British Ministry of Defense confirmed the failure of Russian attacks near Vuhledar at the end of 2022 and in February 2023, and also spoke of a high probability of a new offensive. According to these data, the forces of the Eastern Military District of the Russian Armed Forces continued fighting in the city area. According to the Ukrainian military, near Volodar, the largest tank battle of the war took place. During the fighting, the 72nd Omekbar held the city and inflicted very heavy losses on both Russian brigades. Only visually confirmed losses of Russian troops amounted to 130 armored vehicles, tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and armored personnel carriers. Russian military correspondents blamed the tactical failures on the high command, including once again on General Rustam Muradov. Filming from the battlefield shows that the brigade was replenished with poorly trained mobilized soldiers who acted unprofessionally. Despite the unsuccessful offensive, on February 17, Putin awarded Muradov the rank of Colonel General. Now you will see a selection of destroyed military equipment from the Ukrainian monitoring group Deep State, which which shows more than 30 tanks and infantry fighting vehicles that were destroyed by the Ukrainian army. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to the Caro Show channel and watch our previous videos. Goodbye.